Craig, will you take Richard to school? Monica called to her husband from the garage. She rinsed the cat's bowl in the utility sink and filled it with fresh water. She brushed away the few drops of water that landed on her suit jacket and set the metal bowl on the floor next to the washer. The cat wound its way around her feet, tail held high, and began to lap at the cool liquid. Monica reached down and patted its head. Nice kitty. She stepped back into the kitchen and glanced at her husband. Never say yes to a kid who wants a pet. Craig stopped in the kitchen doorway and frowned. Hey, don't blame me for the cat thing. I said no, remember? He set his briefcase on the counter with a thud and then tightened his tie. Did that kid miss the bus again? Yes, he did. He wouldn't get out of bed this morning. Monica washed her hands, draped the towel over her shoulder, and then shook her head. He better work his way through this defiant phase soon. I am so over the nasty teenage thing. Craig threw his hands in the air and raised his voice. Small lines deepened between his eyebrows. I'm tired of bailing him out. Let him miss school. Let him fail 10th grade. He needs to learn a lesson. Monica leaned back against the granite countertop. Sure, there's a good idea. He can stay home, eat, watch TV, and play on the computer all day. Maybe throw a party while we're at work. She flung the towel onto the counter where it slid into the toaster. He'll learn a lesson all right. How to get his own way. Don't they send a truant officer out or something? Craig reached for the coffee pot. He gestured to Monica and she held out 2 mugs. No, Craig, they don't. That was in the dark ages when we went to school. They never had to send one of those guys to my house. My old man would have thrown me out the door buck naked. There was no such thing as missing school. Parents don't do that anymore either. She pointed a finger at his chest. I'm not going to wrestle with the 6 feet, 2 inch, 230-pound teenager about getting out of bed. That's your job. Craig shook his head. I'm tired of letting Richard's problems become our crisis. It's like we start our day off with the Richard Show every morning. I'm fed up with it. He set his coffee mug on the table and sat down. Me too, but all I need to know right now is if you'll take him to school this morning. I have to leave early and take Francine to practice for her play. Monica sipped her coffee while she set cereal bowls, spoons, and milk on the table. She looked up and watched as 8-year-old Francine lugged her backpack into the kitchen. The girl set the backpack near the door to the garage. Her other hand was extended above her head, holding a plastic garment bag, which trailed along the floor. Craig reached for the bag and folded it over a chair. Thanks, Daddy. Francine reached up and kissed him. What's in the bag? He asked. My outfit for dress rehearsal tonight. Francine smiled and walked toward her mother. Monica hugged her daughter and then glanced above the child's head at Craig. Francine sat at the table and began to pour cereal into her bowl. She looked at her father through narrowed eyes. Daddy, you didn't forget you have to pick me up tonight, did you? Craig's eyes widened and he turned toward his wife, silently pleading. Monica smiled at Francine. Daddy didn't forget. He knows how important this is to you, sweetie. He plans to be at the dance studio at 6 sharp tonight. Monica smiled at her husband. Don't you, honey? Craig let out his breath and inclined his coffee mug slightly toward his wife. Of course I'll be there. He smiled at his daughter. Francine set the cereal box down. I think I left my hat in your car, Daddy. I need to get it before you leave. You better do it now. He checked the time. I am heading out the door in a minute. Francine jumped up from her chair and took off into the garage. Craig set his mug on the table. Her rehearsals tonight?